Well, a time out of war started with my brother, who was 2 years ahead of me, actually, at UCLA. He was 3 years older, 2 years ahead. And I was an undergraduate, he was a graduate student. And it started with Dennis and myself looking for his MFA thesis project, and I would photograph it. So Dennis and I both loved the Civil War short stories of Ambrose Bierce, and we read all through his collection of stories, and we really liked Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, but we thought, it's a little too familiar. People know it. We'd like to do something that people don't know. So Dennis disappeared into the UCLA library, literally disappeared into it for like 2 or 3 weeks. And I had no idea what he was doing, but apparently he was going through every issue of every magazine that had stories, fictional stories in it, from 1894 or 1896 and earlier, because that was the cutoff for public domain. Anything written before that we could use without having to pay any royalty, and we didn't have any money to pay royalties or licenses or anything like that. So he read every story in McClure's Magazine, which was a popular magazine in the 19th century, and he came up with he came out and like it was a eureka moment. He found a story that nobody that I knew of ever heard of, called Pickets. And pickets in that time did not refer to unions or strikes, but referred to, during the Civil War, each side would place men in distant outposts as lookouts, really. Picketed. In this case, they were two northerners and a southerner picketed along a river somewhere in the south late in the war. So early one morning, about 9 of us, the UCLA crew and the actors and us, everybody at UCLA, got in our cars. We had a Jeep that we borrowed from a friend. We went up to a little cabin near the Santa Ynez River that was owned by UCSB, and they loaned it to us. We had this nice small crew and started shooting. We shot it in 5 days, and then spent the summer. We shot it, I think, in April or May, and we spent the summer editing. And then Dennis went off. He'd graduated, and he went off to Nebraska for a teaching job there. And I was stuck with having to match the 35mm negative to the 16mm work print, and there were no code numbers at all. So I spent the whole summer by eye matching everything, and I got every shot, except I made one mistake, which turned out to be okay, because it was a close-up of Corey Allen when the body is pulled out of the water, and I didn't get the right piece. I got a piece where he gives a little strange expression, but it worked for the film. And so we finished the film. We entered it in the Venice Film Festival, not thinking that it would do much, and then we were stunned that word came back that it won the first prize. So that was the beginning. Well, this, in fact, was the first student film ever to win an Oscar of any kind. And this was the real Oscar, not the student Oscar. And we were up against Walt Disney and 20th Century Fox and some other films. And Disney had won, I think, every year practically with his shorts, like very good shorts. Anyway, he was surprised and looked puzzled when he shook our hands afterwards.